Morning, John.
Good morning, Darrell.
How's it going?
Doing well. How are you doing?
Good.
It's been a minute since we've
Yeah, I almost
done this.
introduced myself again.
Again, yeah. We've used that one before.
Didn't we? We scream and beat our chest about how we're going to stay on this. And,
Exactly. It's
then-
hard.
I know.
We got to get
Especially
better.
our schedule. I know
Yeah.
our schedules have been really kind
Really?
of messed up.
Right.
To working out.
Exactly.
for us.
Are you're done working out of town, right? Or what's the scoop with that?
Yeah, I think I am for a while, at least. So, I mean, we just got to make the time. And
Yeah.
I think our schedules might be a little bit better now.
Yeah.
Where we can be a little more consistent.
Agreed.
Till hunting season shows
Till
up.
hunting season, yeah. Got a couple vacations coming up, so
Yeah,
I might throw a little wrench in a week or so, but
yeah,
we'll get back on it.
yeah.
Life gets busy.
Oh, man. And, yeah, this spring, I know bear season for me, I mean, it was just too much snow, and by the time it was melted, there was such a short amount of time
Right.
that I didn't even bother.
Yeah, it was
And-
the same for us too. There's just avalanche across the road and whatnot, so that made it more challenging. And
Yeah. You were able to get in there.
we did finally. It was terrible. I will never do that again. It was so much work.
Oh, to get in there?
Oh yeah, just the snow on the trails and whatnot. It was knee deep all the way. Well, I shouldn't say all the way. There was a drift across the road, an avalanche that had blocked the road, so I added about a little over a mile onto our hike. But once we got across the avalanche, and we were still on the road for that mile, and that was for the most part good. But as soon as we hit the trail, that last mile, ugh.
So you couldn't get over the buggy with the buggy over the avalanche, even in the mornings, huh?
Well, we originally took the truck up, and my truck's tall.
Yeah.
And you couldn't, when we were on the other side, you couldn't even see it. It was just that high on the road.
Wow.
Going across the road there, and there was no way around it. There was a creek on one side, and then, where it had to avalanche down on the other side, and you just couldn't get around. So walking it was. So,
Yeah, well,
anyway,
and that other bait, you couldn't get to that other bait,
we
huh?
never even baited the other one, yeah.
Wow.
So next year.
I did hear, still heard of plenty of bears getting shot,
Yeah.
but not like normal.
No.
I don't know how much people struggle with that.
Well, even when I went and so I bought my bait permits late, just because I knew the snow was, we weren't going to get in there anyway. And when I had went in, I think it was the first part of May. The season had been open for 2 or 3 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
And Fish and Game said they hadn't even had a single bear get checked in at the
Wow.
drome office.
Wow. I know some people killed some off baits for sure, but it seems like I saw more spot and stock this year.
Yeah.
And I actually thought about it a couple times. Man, I should just take a run up because I know a couple areas that would be pretty good for spotting them.
Yeah.
Trouble with most places, it's so dang thick that it's hard unless you're just meandering around and happen to run into one. But
Right.
for the most part, you need an area is open enough, you can see them out and about.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and then, I think some good openings where they'll come out and eat on those grasses and
Yeah.
stuff. That might make a good spot to, spot in the stock or sit
Yeah.
and watch. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it pretty much would have been a rifle hunt for sure.
Right.
At that point.
Right, yeah. So anyway, hopefully next year we'll.
Congrats to the people who did do good out there.
No kidding. There were some good ones shot.
Yeah, I did see some
good ones. So,
Yeah.
but anyway.
Yeah. Well, it rolls on. I didn't draw for sheep.
Yeah.
Didn't draw for much this year. I mean,
okay, yeah. So we haven't even talked about this. So did you do any out of state? Did you put in or just points?
Yeah, I did put in for some out of state, and no luck. My plan, honestly, was to go to Iowa this fall, and the guy, my buddy that I was going to go with, had some problems with some disease and stuff.
Whoa.
He said it wiped out a bunch. So, next year, for sure I'll get something going on.
So is it CWD or whatever you call that? Is that what's going on there? Or no?
He said something, and I almost thought it was something else, but
Okay.
don't quote me on that.
Sure.
But he did send me some pictures of bucks last year, and he said, man, you just didn't see them this year. So hopefully we'll see how it goes.
Right.
I am going to go to Iowa one way or another. I have some other friends that live out there too, and I've had other offers to go. So
Yeah.
I just been, because I kind of started with this one friend of mine. He's one encouraged me to come out, and he's pretty bummed, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. That's sounds kind of weird, but a whitetail is kind of a bucket list item for me. I've shot one before, but it was small.
Me too.
And and that's the only time I've ever hunted them.
Yeah.
And so that definitely, I would love to shoot a big, decent.
I just want to shoot a good, respectable one I can get
Exactly.
mounted.
Exactly.
And we haven't even went. We've got some great whitetail hunting here in Idaho. Just I've never bothered.
Well, it's so far away from us,
Yeah.
so it's like going out of state.
It pretty much is, because you're going to get to the really good stuff,
Right.
At least,
Right. Yeah. And I've done that before. I went with people whitetail hunting, and it was super awesome. And one year, my brother-in-law, I went with him up by Kamei, I think, or Orofino, somewhere up there, and he shot a really nice whitetail. Yeah. And I took my oldest son, Jack. He was just a young kid at the time, so he was hunting, and he shot a little whitetail buck.
Oh, cool.
So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I didn't hunt. I think I'd already killed a deer that year. That's why I didn't hunt. So I just shot a muley down here, and so.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
Yeah.
Good meat.
Yeah. Whitetail's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. So that's been, like I said, I didn't draw for anything else.
Right.
And I put in points for a few states, and
You got to have piles of points in some of these states, don't you?
some I do, yeah. And I really was banking on Nevada.
Yeah, me too. Didn't happen.
Yeah. So next year.
Right. Running out of
I
next
was-
year's.
Of course, I was really hoping I'd draw for sheep this year
Yeah.
in Idaho.
That would
but,
be so awesome.
yeah, that's just one of those things.
Just one less guy putting in for the rest of the draws. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
But so we talked about Nevada. I have flipping 10 points, I think, for antelope and 9 for mule deer. And I don't know how many it's going to take.
Yeah. You don't put it for elk, huh?
I don't. Not there. I kick myself. I don't know if
For not starting?
Yeah, years ago.
Yeah.
I should have done it years ago. And first time I ever put in to hunt in Nevada, I drew a deer tag. The same tag I'm trying to get now. Same tag. I drew it with no points.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I drew it again with, I think I had 4 or 5 points. 1, 2. I've shot 3. I've shot 3 bucks. I've drawn it 3 times, actually. So by now, if I'd have been putting in for freaking elk tags all this time.
If you got 10 points now.
Yeah, well, I've got 9.
9, yeah.
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 I feel like I probably would have drawn a tag. And I just, at the time, I was like, I don't want to spend the money. Money was a little tight.
I got
when we were
13
younger.
for elk now.
Do you?
Yeah.
That's probably not even close to enough, is it?
Well, it depends. This year I didn't put in for a unit that was more sought after,
Okay.
thinking I might draw
Gotcha.
because of that.
Right.
No. And I still, I just bought antelope points, and
Yeah.
I did put in for deer, but I put in for some late hunts, archery hunts, and didn't draw.
Gotcha. I did try to draw an antelope tag in Wyoming, and that didn't work out either. But I'm sure they reduced the numbers because of the bad winter kill there.
Yeah.
So I don't know how many tags. I was really hoping. I decided, okay, I'm gonna put in for that special tag or not super tag. It says the special draw. I don't quite remember what they call it there. But you basically are paying almost double the price, but a certain number of tags are allocated for that, and your pool's shallower. And it looked like last year I have 4 points, I think is all. About 33% of the people, you had about 33% chance of drawing.
That's actually pretty good.
It's not bad, and that's why I thought. But it could have been worse this year with,
if they reduced tags.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because I think that's like $600. And then I was reading on there.
If you draw or to put in.
To put in.
Oh.
Well, you get your money back except for the $15 or whatever it is. But next year they're almost doubling. It's going to be like $1,200 to do that same hunt.
For an antelope?
Yeah.
Bass.
Yeah, I don't think I'll do that again. I'll just put in for the regular hunt at that
We
point.
got so many more opportunities to hunt
Exactly.
antelope.
I really want to hunt antelope. I love hunting antelope, but
Me too,
you
yeah.
know, we can hunt them here for $40. I'm good.
Yeah. Yeah.
45, whatever the price is.
Yeah, you know, I was thinking about that. In fact, last night, just people, for the lack of a better word, bitching about not getting drawn. And I've been putting in, you know, for I don't know how many years, whatever, and haven't drawn. And there's still some really good kind of over the counter. Some of them you have to first come, first serve or whatever. But, you know, we still have a lot of opportunity to be able to hunt. And I sometimes I just think, man, do you guys really realize
Right.
what we got?
I know.
And how every year is 1 year closer to us losing that.
Right.
So you better cherish it. In fact, Chris Denham, one I was talking to him, it's been a little while back when we talked about this, but he says, just talked about how, you know, that I was fortunate enough to still get to hunt, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And he says, you know, cherish it as long as you can because it's not forever.
Right.
And right then it sunk in, but yet that's what I was thinking about last night. In fact, I thought about his and I conversation, and I'm thinking he is really right.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of time until we go to some form of draw, blah, blah, blah.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, you're 100% right. People don't, they'll put in for those unbelievably hard tags
Yeah.
to draw.
And
And
they
they
get
don't
mad.
draw and get upset about it. I've been putting in for 20 years, whatever.
Yeah.
And
For the unit that has 3 tags.
right. I mean, you got to accept the fact that you're probably not going to draw that tag.
I mean, I still feel personally, even like for sheep, you know, that it is luck of the draw because there is no point system.
Right.
And I still would rather have that
Yeah.
than have a point system.
Totally.
I would, personally.
Well, and like I've heard people talk about, once you get the point system, they're putting grandma in and grandpa and whoever, mom and dad.
Yeah.
And like, so there's that many more people getting points in hopes that one of them draw the tag. You know?
Yeah.
So I don't know, but
I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm sure some people will think, you know, that I'm wrong with that mindset, but that's for me personally.
well, yeah. I mean, everybody can make their own decisions, obviously,
Yeah.
on that stuff. But yeah, I'm with you 100% on be grateful that you still get to hunt. You know,
Like you just said, we can just go buy an antelope tag, archery antelope tag.
right?
And I know, granted, you know, the success rate for archery is a lot less than it is for rifle in most cases for certain species.
Right.
But, you know, still I still would rather archery hunt than, you know, it does allow us, like elk, we can hunt every year.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
I know the success isn't
As high,
as
right?
high. Yeah, but at least we can still hunt them every year.
Yeah, and a lot of times I think the success rate is correlated to the amount of effort put in a lot of times too.
That's true. Oh, I know that's true. You know, I mean, I know some people that do some cow tags and they're just going to road hunt.
Right.
And good on them if that's what they want to do and if that's the way they enjoy hunting.
Right.
Good on them. But if they don't get nothing, don't bitch.
Right.
If you're just sitting on your side by side driving
Exactly.
around. Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding.
I did put in for Thule elk again and didn't draw.
Yeah.
In California, that's one that
So is that something you get points for?
I do get points, but I actually am hoping because the area I'm putting in, there's a tag for points, and then they have just a lottery random draw tag too. Mm. And so anyone could draw. You don't need points to necessarily draw that tag.
Right.
And I have a buddy John, remember he came out several years ago with his antelope hunting.
Yep.
First year he put in for elk, he drew.
Really?
Because he got that random tag. So,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So and you drew.
So I probably not the right person to even talk about being grateful because I
You are grateful.
am super grateful absolutely. And I was 2 for 2 on drawing tags in Idaho this year, which one was unlimited. Doesn't count antelope, but that's okay. I still count it. And then I drew an elk tag, a muzzleloader elk tag. I'm super stoked. I think there were only 10 tags. And so, I was fortunate enough to snag one of those. And
that's good.
I am so excited. I cannot wait to go.
Because that hunt starts October 1st.
Yeah.
So they're still going to be bugling in.
I think so. It seems like the rut is a little later, I think, because the weather's been hotter. So who knows what this year's going to bring. But it seems like even last year when
you always get those cows that
second
come
cycle
and heat.
and stuff.
They come and heat a little later. I mean, I've heard them bugling all the way into the middle of October.
Right, exactly.
I got a nephew that drew a middle of October rifle tag, and I mean, I'm anticipating there's probably going to be some bulls still talking then.
I gotta think so.
Yeah.
Well, I was filming a hunt up here. When was it?
Hunt?
It was a rifle hunt, and it was late October, if I remember right, and it was hot, and they were still screaming. Like ridiculously.
Really?
It was crazy. It was so much fun.
Hopefully to get a chance to film this.
Yeah.
With my nephew, it'll be a fun one. He's 13 or 14 years old.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, how
First
fun.
time he's drawn.
Oh,
he drew antelope tag as
really?
well. Yeah.
That is, I didn't realize he was that young. That is super cool.
Yeah.
So he drew antelope rifle?
Rifle, antelope, and
whoa.
when I talked to his dad the day the draws came out, he goes, I know a lot of people actually, the first email they got just said deer.
Okay.
So that they were unsuccessful. And so I think a lot of people, or not a lot, I guess, but I talked to a couple different people that thought they didn't draw anything. And some of them didn't. But I do know of a few people that the deer came out first. They got the notification they didn't draw deer.
Right.
But when they went on their portal, they actually did draw something.
Yeah. I didn't even check my emails, actually. I heard they were out, so I just got on the the portal.
Yeah, I texted you as soon as.
Yep.
But yeah, that's what happened. Is my brother-in-law, he got on line, and when he checked portals, then he realized that his son had drawn. So
that is so cool.
We might have to have him on he's a character, the little.
That's
James.
a great idea. That'll be fun. That would be a lot of fun. He my elk tag that I drew, it said successful. I'm like, oh man, I must have put in for the wrong tag.
Like me that year when I put in for that one trophy unit and didn't realize it was antlerless.
Right. See, that's what I thought I might have done. And so, I doubled before I got too excited.
2 years ago you drew that? Or 3?
3 years ago, I think.
3?
Yeah, same tag. Yeah.
Yeah.
2 for 2 on drawing. I don't know how. I don't know how I got so lucky on that. I can't bitch about it.
Yeah, just go with it.
Taking it. I am taking it. Yeah. And that was a fun hunt. So I'm looking forward to doing that again. And I have the area figured out a little bit already. Before I had never hunted it. Never really spent a lot of time in there. I knew it a little bit. I kind of know I have a good starting spot of what I want to do. Yeah. So we'll see how it works out.
You kind of got to see their routine of where they're hanging out and whatnot.
Absolutely.
And it's funny, my nephew wanted it because I've got that one bull, the opportunity bull, that's on video. And I got it, mounted in the house now, and after all those years, I finally decided to get it mounted. So it's up in the addition, and he's asking about it, and he asked about it. It was on video, and he wanted to watch it. So we watched it, and I was kind of telling the story how that bull was. I'd seen that bull in there the same year with a cow that had a collar, and that's the same exact area. And he was like, they go back year after year, and I said, there's a lot of times that unless they're pushed away for whatever reason, but they are creatures of habit.
Sure.
So
that makes sense.
Yeah.
We talked about a couple of bulls tags that we drew or whatever, and just it popped in my head. But I'll leave links to those in the description so you guys can watch those videos. They're both on film. So
that's right.
The
muzzleloader one,
the muzzleloader one, and then the opportunity bull.
Yeah.
So I'll link those down below. They're good. They're good stuff. Good watches.
Do what?
Good watches.
Oh yeah,
they're a good watch.
Yeah, and they're short, so they don't you don't have to take up a lot of time.
Exactly.
So, anyway, yeah, and I've been working on my addition for a while, and I've just got a little bit of flooring left, and about 80% of the heads are up. So
it's looking good. I mean, just from the photos, I haven't made it over there yet, obviously, but like we keep saying, we're going to do a podcast once you get it done.
Yeah, I'll do a podcast over there at some point.
Show it off a little bit.
Yeah.
Looks pretty sweet.
Be nice would change it up a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So other than that, you've been working on some housing stuff too?
Yeah, so somehow I ended up buying a house and to just remodel, and I don't even know what we're going to do with it yet. Flip it, whatever. Got to hang on to it for a while. But it's a newer home, but it was in bad shape, and so we basically tore every single thing out of the inside except for the sheetrock. I fixed the holes and stuff in that. But so that's been my summer project. It's going well.
Yeah.
We're just about ready. Everything's tore out. We're now in the process of putting everything back together. So
that's good.
We'll be painting walls hopefully in the next couple days, and then I've got the bathrooms completely tore apart. So we got to get those put back together and go from there.
It is always kind of fun, like, you know, this remodel in the house plus adding on. When you actually start seeing the final part, the finished part go up,
right?
It just seems like, you know, it's such a relief.
Yes, stressful.
Oh gosh,
it's like you just want to be done with
satisfaction too. You know,
exactly, and something really didn't think about ahead of time. But when your kids get older, you don't get as much time with them, and you know they got their own things going. And anyway, my middle son Cooper, he works in Colorado in the winters, but he's really not doing much during the summer. He's a young, you know, gypsy, I guess.
Yeah.
But anyway, he has been a huge help.
Oh, he's been helping you?
Oh yeah, he's been awesome, and it's been nice having that. Something we can do together, you know.
Oh yeah,
and so get teach him a little bit of that kind of stuff.
Enjoys doing too. He's
exactly. Yeah. So that's been kind of a cool part of that whole process.
Yeah.
So it kind of keeps you bonded to him a little bit.
Yeah, that's cool.
So, yeah, that was nice.
But it's going to be nice.
Unexpected, but nice.
It's going to be nice when it's done, though.
Oh man. Like. That's the last thing I need to do. You know, we always talk about how busy we are, and then I go buy a freaking house and start remodeling.
When you told me that, I'm like, what?
Exactly.
You did what?
Yeah. And the T-shirt thing, you know, that thing has been just going crazy.
Yeah.
Lately, we went from being in, you know, just doing, you know, weekend shows and stuff, and we had our stuff in one store. We're up to 4 stores now.
Oh, nice.
And a bunch of new products. Hopefully everybody will check those out.
Sagebuck Outdoors in Idaho.
Correct. Yep. Got some brand new.
You got some really cool new designs and stuff I've seen. Hats and T-shirts.
Exactly. Yeah. And we're experimenting with different stuff. And I've bought more stuff. I like to do as much in house as I can.
Yeah.
So I end up buying a laser engraver, and we're doing, you know, those cups and the leather patches on the hats and stuff like that. So
that's cool.
And it's helping, you know, with the antler stuff that I do. We laser engrave on those too, and so it's kind of been fun.
Yeah,
playing with that thing.
Yeah,
but anyway,
you didn't do no turkey hunting or anything spring?
No. It's just shed hunting. Oh, we haven't even talked about shed hunting yet. My favorite thing. Yeah. No, I did some shed hunting, but holy crud, it was a crazy year. Weather-wise. No,
weather-wise.
No, people weren't an issue at all because nobody could freaking get out there.
That's right. You had your spatula.
Yeah, the Spatula Incident. So, for those of you guys, I'll just tell you what happened. I was out shed hunting, and I got out there. I got stuck once in the snow getting out there, so I shoveled myself out. Decided to keep going. I was able to get out there, and it started snowing again. Let's see, did I stay? No, I didn't. I did stay the night. The next day, I woke up, and it was just snowing like crazy. And I decided to get out of there where the wind was blowing, and it drifted everything over. I ended up getting stuck again somewhere along the line. I had lost my shovel. So I was like, what am I gonna do? And I started digging through my stuff, and luckily I had stayed the night out there because I had all my cooking stuff, and I had a metal. I should have brought it down. It's a show. I didn't even think about talking about this, but a metal spatula. And I literally dug, and I was sunk. It's a Pioneer 1000 5-seater, whatever. It's too big to dig out with a spatula.
Yeah.
So I did. I had to dig the entire. It's got the skid plate all the way across the bottom, and it was just sitting on that skid plate, so I couldn't get anywhere. Oh yeah, I think so. So anyway. I couldn't get anywhere. So I dug myself out. Forgot what I was talking about for a sec. Sorry. Got dug out. It took me about an hour and a half with that stupid thing, and ended up. Anyway, it's just snowing and windy and cold and miserable. I wasn't worried because I did have all my gear to stay if I had to.
Yeah.
I had a tent and a heater and all that. So if I
you
had
kind
to
of were planning on staying. Right?
Well, I stayed that night before. And I got worried about not being able to get out of there.
Oh, okay. So were you going to stay another night?
I was planning on staying 3 nights.
Okay.
And just didn't happen. It didn't make sense because it snowed so much I couldn't see anything anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like, let's just get out of here.
It's such a weird year.
Oh, it was crazy.
The country, it seemed like.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know about back east, but I know everything in the West, California, and you just hear bad rainstorms and snowstorms and
snow,
Tahoe, bad.
Yeah, that was insane. But anyway, I'll finish. I won't make this a long story, but I ended up getting stuck 3 more times, so I had to dig myself out with the spatula 4 times, and I finally was able to get out. And the last time it was starting to get dark, and I was like, oh, okay. If I get stuck one more time, I'm just staying.
Camping.
Yeah. And I had my inReach. I mean, there was no fear of dying or anything like that, but it just wasn't going to get out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no fun.
And did it keep snowing?
It did. If I'd had to stay, I would have been there for a couple weeks probably, or my buggy would have been. I could have walked. I was close enough at that point that I could have walked out. I would have inReached somebody, but I could have walked to where they could get to me.
Yeah.
So, and that wouldn't have been. I mean, it would have sucked, but it wasn't the end of the world.
I'm glad you got it all out because there's nothing worse than. Only one time I had to leave a vehicle overnight, and even though it's stuck, no one's going to steal it.
Right.
There's just that idea of leaving it out there.
Well, and the problem with the buggy is you can't lock it.
It's
there's
true.
All kinds of stuff in there.
Yeah, because you weren't going to pack all your stuff.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was far enough. I mean, it wasn't near a road that people would normally be on. So.
Your shovel, what is your shovel normally attached, strapped to or whatever?
Well,
How about now? No.
So I've got a different shovel. I had people actually buy me shovels, and I've heard more.
Up, really?
Oh yeah, definitely. Breakdown ones that'll fit.
Yeah,
they fit in my toe.
That's what I was thinking too.
Well, I already had one, but I knew there was a decent chance that I was going to get stuck before I ever left. So I threw in my big shovel and took the little one out, which was a huge mistake.
Yeah.
And of course the big one doesn't fit anywhere, so somewhere along the line it bounced out of the back of the buggy.
Is it one of those just great big scoop shovels?
No, it was just a normal shovel.
Okay.
I don't know what they're called, but
you ever seen those big scoop grain shovels that are aluminum?
Yeah.
Those work awesome for snow.
Right. Yeah. I wish I had one, but I do now. I mean, it's a big yeah. It was
when you told me that, I was like
I haven't whatever. I posted it on social media because I don't really do long posts on social media very often or ever. And I thought that was worth telling that story because, man, you realize in those moments, if you weren't prepared, you could die so easily. Yeah. And so I wanted to throw that out there, you know, which was good. And so it was a pretty long post. And I've had more people comment on that damn spatula.
That's funny.
Yeah. In fact, my daughter I wish I'd have brought it down here. She made me this glass, shadow box.
With a spatula?
With a spatula in it. And she wrote on it, in case of emergency, break glass.
That's hilarious.
So, I should have that hanging down here somewhere. I probably will. But it's pretty funny. Yeah. But it was good. And then, it wasn't a great year. I actually saw a lot of elk.
With horns still?
Yeah. In fact, I found 2 bulls that were kind of in this pocket that I'd found some sheds in the past. So, and they were still packing. It was fairly late. I was really surprised they still had their antlers. Anyway, I did end up, so I went back a couple different times, and I did end up finding the set off of one of the two bulls, which was awesome. And
that's the set you found.
The set, yeah. And then I never did. I searched, and there was a couple other spots I thought he might have went to, the other bull, but I never could find him. But it was every time I tried to go out there, it was something. You know, it's the snow the one time. I took my wife with me one time, and we started hiking, and it started raining really bad, and she kind of got lost. And she just was walking, and I saw her. I didn't know didn't know where she was at, but I could see her from where I was. But then
You didn't have radios?
No, I couldn't see. That was another thing. I couldn't find my freaking two-way radios that we usually keep with us. But she did have, and let's see, did she have? I can't remember. She had an inReach actually, and we were able. She actually got back to the buggy before I did.
Okay.
And,
did she find anything?
She was scared. No, neither one of us did on that trip. It just started raining so hard, you couldn't. It just was miserable.
Yeah.
So yeah, but my last
does
trip,
make it like a time. Even though I've been out hunting plenty of times and been soaking wet and everything, but it's one thing if you, at least for me, if I'm hunting. But doing something that's supposed to be fun and having it pour and rain, just kind of makes it
especially because Caroline, my wife, doesn't really go out and do that stuff very often. She likes to do it, and it was a bummer that it kind of did that.
Yeah.
But I took her twice, and the other time it was decent weather, and that was actually the first time I took her out. So this is kind of funny, and I know she didn't know the area very well, so I made it, do this. We're going to do a loop, and I'll be on the outside of you. I'll do a loop right back around to the road. And, no chance of her not knowing where she is at. Mm-hmm. Well, pretty soon I could never find her, and I was like, geez, I got back and to the buggy, and she wasn't there. And it's like, oh, man. And I started driving up and down the road looking for her, and shoot, I'd been back for like an hour, and she wasn't there. And I'm like, oh, man, I was getting nervous. Well, pretty soon I see her come bebopping total opposite way of where I had told her to be, and so I finally get up with her, and I said, you're not even close to where you were supposed to be. She's like, yeah, I know, it looked boring over there, so I walked this way. So she knew where she was at the whole time.
And you're freaking out.
I was, yeah. I was nervous. I was like, oh my gosh, I lost my wife. My kids are going to kill me. But she was fine.
She had an inReach, right?
Not on that trip.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I had no way to get a hold of her or nothing, so that's when we decided, okay, we better.
So do you have two inReaches now?
So I have one, and my son-in-law has one, so we borrowed his.
Gotcha.
So we could contact
one of the handiest things, I think.
Oh, man. Yeah, they're lifesavers, really. Yeah. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, well, that's good.
So you turkey hunting. Sorry, I got off track on shit hunting. I get so excited about talking about that stuff.
Yeah. No, that's good stories, too. Yeah, I got to do a little turkey hunting, and I went on a little mini vacation for about a week in Cali and California. Went to Pismo Beach and enjoyed that. Went up looking for hog and some turkeys, and kind of hog hunted in the morning and the evening, and turkey hunted during the day, and I was able to whack a couple birds.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, good food and lots of fun. Good friends. Yeah.
So that's not turkey hunt I want to talk about.
The one here in Idaho.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah, this is awesome, by the way. Yeah, well, yeah. So I got a message from Mike Tussey originally, or initially, I should say, which we had last year out here hunting antelope, and this year he's coming back again. It should be fun. And my stepdaughter bought my wife for her birthday. Her birthday's in May. Had bought her tickets to go see Luke Combs in Boise, and so they were planning on going. I was actually supposed to be working because I was working out of town when they bought them, and so I wasn't planning on going. But that was kind of their deal. But Tussey messaged me and says, "Hey, Luke Combs is coming out there to do a concert," and then he asked if I might know a place maybe that could take him turkey hunting. So then he ended up getting a hold of, or actually we group text message with another guy, Jason Hart, who now works for Mossy Oak. He was one of the co-founders of Marolina, which is nomad camo and hook fishing. And whatnot.
Yep.
So he got a hold of me, and then we group text with another guy. Oh shoot, I don't want to say the wrong name. Anyway, and it was a real short message. Conversation, yeah. And then he added another guy in who was a guy named Dan, who's one of Luke's songwriters. And so we started talking, and Dan and Luke are like brothers, super, super tight. Dan and also his brother Reed, they write songs for him as well as hunt, they hunt quite a bit with him. And so he was kind of the guy I talked to the most. Mm-hmm. And I said, let me see what I can do. I mean, I know enough people. I figured I could find some property.
Right.
And I ended up finding about 5 different places that we could go, for sure. Mm-hmm. Then I started weeding out, which's the closest to Boise, mm-hmm. and what has the most purge, and it was a group thing. It wasn't just me. I mean, I got the initial call, and texts and whatnot, but I reached out to some friends and who reached out to people and knew a cattle guy who's had a guy work for him whose uncle owned property. I mean, it literally was like that.
Yeah.
But we ended up finding, and then I got some video of it, and the ranch isn't hunted. It's hunted very little, and anyway, they said that they were willing to let him go hunting on there.
Nice.
And so yeah, and all they wanted it to be was, they are all experienced turkey hunters, and it was Luke, one of his songwriters, a tour manager, and then Laney ended up being Laney Wilson's boyfriend, Duck, and they're all avid turkey hunters. So they didn't need no one holding their hand. All you do is kind of point them in the right direction.
Right.
And, these guys they're gone so much. They get so little relaxed time. Mm-hmm. I was just kind of sat back and, I was there and everything, mm-hmm. just hanging around. But as far as, didn't go out right with them.
Right.
But it was cool to see. I mean, they're just normal people, just like you and I are, just really down to earth. But to see them having a good time and not worrying about paparazzi and, there was just a handful of us there and did a nice lunch. And my wife and my stepdaughter came up and helped cook some things and
that's awesome.
Whatnot. Yeah. So it was pretty fun. And just to see that they're just normal people.
Yeah. We're pretty fun to hang out with, like just normal dudes, huh?
Yeah. I mean, the one afternoon, we hunted one afternoon and then a day, for the most part, the full day.
Right.
This is a couple days before their concert. There was a time there. It was probably a good hour and a half. We were waiting on a couple guys. It was Luke and a buddy of mine and Dan. And we just got a chance just to BS and like I said, just normally all they want to talk about is hunting and stuff. They just have a different job.
Right. Exactly.
They make a little more money,
Right.
But yeah, I mean, and just super talented people.
I'll bet. And they enjoyed the hunt?
Loved it.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, they all had 2 tags, and Duck killed one on Wednesday evening, or Wednesday afternoon. And then all the rest, they all killed 2 birds on Thursday, which none of them have ever done, because most of them, where they live, you can't do that.
Gotcha.
So that was a pretty cool thing for them to do, too.
Yeah.
And, it was just really relaxing. A lot of birds, and really appreciate the people letting us
no kidding.
Go hunt on there, especially, I mean, they just don't let people hunt.
Yeah.
But it was funny because the landowner, he likes rock music.
Oh, really?
So that morning, it's like, because we didn't go to that place Wednesday. We went to another place. So Thursday morning, it's dark. We pull up and they're introducing themselves, and the landowner's like, "So what's your name and what do you do?" And when it got to Luke, he's like, "My name is Luke Combs, and I'm an entertainer." And he's like, he goes, "Okay." He goes, "Well, I know you're popular, but," he goes, "I like rock and roll." He says, "Sorry."
That's awesome.
It's like, "Oh, that's cool. I like it too."
Right.
So
that's funny.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, but that was a fun experience and everything. It's a fun experience just to be part of something that I guess because they don't get a lot of that time, when they're touring, especially. It was probably a great break, They end up flying in early when, especially when we found out we can hunt Wednesday afternoon. They flew in early Wednesday.
So they flew in just early, just to hunt?
Yeah.
Okay, so okay, that's pretty cool.
Their concert was on Saturday. They flew in Wednesday.
Okay.
And got here around noonish. I met them at the airport, and then they followed me in. And then we got to go get their license. And I thought it was super cool. I got to tell the story just because, just to show you good people they are. I'm not going to mention the town or anything like that, but it's like a hole-in-the-wall store that has very little stuff, but they do sell fishing and hunting license. And I really wanted to take them a place where they don't have time to call their cousins and uncles and aunts and just bombard them.
Right.
Sure. So we actually drove up there to take a look at it, and Vera actually said, "What about that place?" Because it's, like I said, a hole-in-the-wall store. So I turned around and went over there, and sure enough, they sell them. And I made sure they were going to be open. And another place we had stopped, it was cash only for fish and game. So I made sure you could use a card there, and they said, yeah. So I thought, all right, this is going to be the perfect spot. And we go in there, and the guy has no clue, didn't recognize Luke, which is really what I was kind of hoping,
Exactly.
But they did have a book there, like guests, the people who come passing through, and I said, "You signed the book?" And he's like, "Oh no." He goes, "I will." So he signed it, and that was kind of about it, right?
Right.
Well, the next day, Ethan, the tour manager, he had only bought one tag that day, and he shot his bird that morning. So I said, "Hey, we can go get another tag if you want to go back out." So we ran back in that store and there was nobody in there, but the clerk was sitting outside smoking a cigarette. And we pulled up and it's like, "Hey, how's it going?" She said, "Good." And I says, "Sorry to miss your smoke break up." She goes, "Oh, I'm just sitting out here waiting for Luke Combs to show up." And she goes, "He even signed the book, inside."
Right.
And of course, she didn't know who any of us were.
Got you.
So we go inside, and Ethan starts to get his tag.
Yeah.
And I asked her, I go, "You going to the concert?" And she's like, "No." She goes, "I'd love to go. I got a friends that are going." She goes, I just started here a few weeks ago, and I can't afford it, blah, blah, blah. And I ended up walking outside. I was waiting for a phone call, and Ethan, he kind of looked at me. And I didn't really know what he's going to do, but he ended up hooking her up with tickets.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was so cool.
Wow.
I thought, I bet she was all but in tears,
Right.
And they get a handful of tickets, I'm sure, probably as many as they want, actually, to give away and whatnot. But when I did go to the concert, I was walking through the pit, and so right next to the pit is the floor seating. And there she was with her husband or boyfriend, just leaning on the railing, And the concert was before the concert, but I recognized her and I go, "Hey, there you are!" And so she was so excited.
I can imagine.
I thought that was just super cool of him to do that.
That is super awesome.
Yeah. So anyway, it was a great concert. As probably some people went to it, and I know this is the farthest west they came this year.
Okay.
On this tour, but next year they're going to be out here more.
Yeah. Well, I think it's kind of cool that they got to see a part of Idaho other than just a concert, venue. Yeah. So that's kind of neat. Yeah, because a lot of times they blow in and blow out, right.
know. And they had fun and they want to come back, and if they do, and I'm able to be a part of it, great. If not, then
it is what it is.
Yeah.
So have they done any kind of? You said they're big turkey hunters. Have they done any? Do they do any big game hunting?
Yeah,
probably whitetail. I'm sure.
They're whitetail. And Dan and his brother Reed flew in on Saturdays when I met Reed at the concert, but I think he flew in Friday night. But they're brothers, and they actually, their Instagram is the Brothers Hunt, and just, I mean, and after you see Dan and everything, if you him and Reed are in a lot of Luke's videos, and but anyway, they grew up hunting. Luke didn't really grow up hunting. If for those of you who've seen any of his interviews or anything, I know he's on Joe Rogan, talked about it then. Mm-hmm. He didn't hunt a lot growing up, so this has been a really cool thing for him to learn. And,
right.
And Dan and Reed, I know, have been a big part of showing him a lot of that stuff. And I know he was on Ranella doing an antelope hunt on Meat Eater.
Oh,
and
yeah,
then,
I think I saw that.
Yeah, it's good. It was really good. And actually, the two guys that are with him was Dan and Reed. The ones I'm talking about. Mm. But they did. I think they've been to Montana. I think Luke, I don't think he's killed a mule deer yet. But I mean, they're getting ready to have another baby. This year's kind of, I know, part of a wash in between that and his tour and which he's doing. I mean,
crazy. Huh?
Yeah. His latest album he's got is just killing it.
That's cool.
But next year, I anticipate he'll probably the fall, try to do a lot more hunting if he can.
Yeah.
So
it'll be fun.
Yeah. So that was kind of a cool thing. In fact, they did double up and they got a couple birds together, and so they're getting them mounted together. And
cool.
I took them the taxidermist came and picked them up, and then I happened to be going over. I had to pick up my coos deer, so I brought the meat over and met up with them, gave them to them, and at the stadium there, and
gotcha.
they were just going to cook up what they can because they were going on, They didn't, and they had a catering place. They did some spice they brought and stuff and cooked up the turkey breast. Yeah, it was really good. I tasted it.
Oh, that's cool.
I tasted it on Saturday.
Okay.
I went back over there Saturday and got it. But they gave me the legs and the thighs off of there because they have to be paired a little bit different.
Okay.
And I used them and the legs and my thighs off the birds I killed. Mm-hmm. We had a birthday party.
Oh, fun.
Here a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And made tacos, shredded it up.
That's right.
Put it in a crock pot and shredded the meat all up and seasoned it. And we had that and elk and beef, I think. Maybe a little bit of chicken we did just like street tacos.
Gotcha.
But like 300 and some.
Wow. So you had a pretty good turnout for the birthday party.
Yeah, it was a pretty good turnout. Yeah, it was almost overwhelming because I felt bad because, you invite people that mean something to you, that are friends and stuff, and you don't really get a chance to really visit like you hoped.
Right.
I won't do that again.
Yeah.
But I'd rather have two smaller parties or 4 smaller parties.
Right.
But,
it's hard to visit with everybody.
Yeah.
And that's one I couldn't make to either.
Yeah, because you had the show
that
going
weekend.
on.
Yeah. Dang it. Yeah.
They were good.
It sounded good.
Yeah. But that was pretty much between that and, I took up my spring.
Right.
I was busy doing that.
Yeah.
Good spring.
Yeah, that was great spring.
Now we just got to get through the next couple months.
I know.
Elk seasons.
Yeah, I'm so excited. I really want to do there's a couple other spots. I shot, like last time I drew that tag, I had shot that bull in that spot and it was awesome, and I'll probably end up hunting that again, but I do want to check out some other spots. So
your vacation, had you already booked vacation for September off?
I did. And,
what are you going to do?
Well, I fortunately was able to switch it, which is crapshoot, because first of all, there were only 10 tags, and the odds of drawing it twice in a row.
Yeah.
I mean, well, not in a row. I mean, they were 4 years apart, but 2 times, 100% drawn on that hunt.
That's the only 2 times you put in for that?
Yeah, that's the only 2 times I've ever put in for, and I drew both times. But, so super. I just do want to say I was just super fortunate and grateful that I've got to do that. But anyway, it was funny too. Actually, I'm getting sidetracked. But the muzzleloader deer tag I drew last year, there was only I think 20 tags for that, and I've drawn that every time I put in for it. I think I've drawn it 3 times. Yeah, 3 times.
We need to put in
one
the
time I
hunt
didn't.
together. Maybe I'll draw something.
Right. Yeah. Well, Frank got on that bus just on the deer hunt last year, so
Yeah.
he was able to get a draw tag too. But
You put in solo for the elk?
I did. Yeah. Because Frank probably would have put in, but he put in for a moose tag and didn't draw, so he, he couldn't put in.
That's right.
So.
Yeah.
And it's hard, like on hunts like that, it's hard to have 2 tags. It's almost better to draw it by yourself so you can just concentrate on,
So you have any time off in September? Just for antelope?
For antelope, that's it, yeah. I took away I had the last week of September off to elk hunt, but I didn't need that, so I got rid of that and switched it to that October time frame for this elk hunt, so.
Yeah.
I would have kept it if I had plenty of vacations, but you gotta filter some of that stuff out.
Yeah.
Sure. Because I like to just go. I would be happy to go help somebody, but
to film people and stuff.
I know that's it. I'm a little worried about, if I get any things with Toby and Deadline Outfitters and stuff like that. I'm hoping I can film a few hunts for them this year.
Oh yeah.
That's usually
things
last
go
minute
right.
stuff.
I'd like to get out and try to help you film too. It'd be nice. It's so much nicer if you got somebody with you to film as opposed to trying to do it all.
100%. Yeah.
I don't know, we've talked about this before, but them solo hunter guys, my hat's off to them.
Right.
I know they've got it down to pretty good, the way they do everything.
Right. It's still tough.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta, and if they're making a living doing that, it's like, that's as important as shooting the animal anyway. I mean, it's their job.
Yeah.
It's like
shooting the animal is one thing, but getting it on film and shooting it by yourself.
So tough. So tough.
Shoot, yeah. I can't tell you how many times I fumble farted around and went, all right, camera's going in my backpack, and then you hunt.
Really? Really, I know. And then you get to that point too. And the bull I shot last year, I hit him, but really low in the brisket. I grazed him. But at that point, I'm 7 days into the hunt, and I'm just like, man, I just want to get something done. So the camera was in my pack. I didn't film any of that. It would have been, if I'd had somebody with me, that was such an awesome freaking experience. That bull walking right to us right to me through the timber and stuff, and then turning broadside, and I just guessed the yardage wrong.
That's right.
Shot low, but
well, we'll be getting some. Native by Carlton's got some new stuff coming out this year. Pretty excited about.
What they got
calls? Grunt tubes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. We talked
some
about
new
that.
diaphragms.
Yeah.
And I've got some of the prototype stuff, and it's pretty good.
Oh, you got it already?
Yeah.
Cool.
The diaphragms.
Yeah.
The grunt tube. I imagine. I know they're going to be available. I think we should have one here in the next couple of weeks to just show.
Yeah.
So,
cool.
Yeah.
And we'll have our own calls.
She gets more of our calls. So
That's cool.
do another giveaway. And,
cool. So, that's exciting.
Yeah. Anyway, so I guess we'll try to.
This went longer than I thought. We had a lot to talk about. It's been like 3 months, I think.
Yeah, or something like that.
So
we'll get some guests to get lined out here starting this next one.
Actually, speaking of guests, we were going to talk about Terry Hessel.
Yeah. I was really unfortunate that I forget which episode it was off the end.
It was about the last one we did. I can't remember what number
Terry
it was.
Passed away. It's been a month or so ago since he passed, but our condolences to his family. Just super good guy.
Devastating.
Yeah. And he came on there and talked about his moose hunt and his hunting heart.
That's you just don't know, man.
No,
it's a
you
bummer.
don't. I mean,
he's in great shape.
He was training. He was training for to do a
triathlon, I think, right? Yeah. Jeez.
And was out running and
Huh.
I guess heart disease ran in his family, but still,
right.
I mean, goes to show you when you're, you just never know. Life is precious.
Right.
I did do a bucket list thing of mine I turned 60 June 2nd.
Yeah.
60.
A seasoned 60.
Yeah. I know. I went to archery shoot last week, and I was like, I'm in the silver seniors now class. If I want to compete, I'm like silver. I've been silver for a while, but now I'm like officially silver.
That's awesome.
But anyway, I skydived and I always wanted.
yeah.
It's been a bucket list thing of mine for many years.
Yeah.
My dad used to do it. you
Okay.
know. And yeah, it just happened to, and it's been one of those things. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I want to do it, but I never really pursued it.
Yeah.
And then as it turned out, I end up doing some work for a guy who owns the company D-Zone out of Star, Idaho, and when he told me what he did, I was like, whoa, this, I've always wanted to do that. And I told him, he's like, well, let's make it happen, and so we ended up making it happen.
Wow.
And a few buddies did it, and
That's
most
cool.
awesome experience.
I'll bet it is, but I have zero interest in doing that.
Zero interest? Yeah.
I suppose if I was presented with an opportunity like you did, just off the cuff or whatever, I might consider it. I don't know. That's not something I'm kind of a sissy when it comes to that stuff.
You're not afraid of heights.
No.
And that's what I hear people say, oh, I'm afraid of heights, but the height thing didn't, I just went with it. I mean, I wasn't like tensed up.
Yeah. Sure.
At all. And all through the whole thing, it was almost like a daze, I guess.
Yeah.
That it was actually happening, because it's been something I've wanted to do so long, and then I almost kind of put it off to the side, thinking it probably will never happen.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Sure.
But it just kind of just all came together, and when it did,
That's awesome.
yeah. But when you're up in the plane, and when you're climbing and everything. But shit gets real when that door flies open and
Right.
hits the wing. It's like, this is really happening.
Oh, boy.
And that sensation of falling, free falling, it's only probably 40 seconds or so.
That's a long time.
But it does seem like, when I say it was a long time, it wasn't like in a negative sense.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh man, this did last a lot longer than I thought.
Yeah.
You spin around, do some
That's
flips. And
really.
Yeah. For a bit, you.
I would just be so nervous until that parachute actually came open. I don't know, man.
Well, when you're just, free falling, and you're kind of stopped and you're moving around a little bit.
Yeah.
You're in control. And, many people says, oh, well, you could have died or whatever.
Right.
And you have so much higher chance of getting killed in a car accident than you do jumping out of a perfectly good plane with
That's
a parachute.
true.
When your number's up, I'm going to live. There's
Good
just
point.
some things you need to live.
Yep.
Don't regret.
Yeah. Sure.
And I'll do it again.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Addicting, huh? It's like getting tattoos once you get one.
Nah, not necessarily. Nah, I've got a couple for my kids, and I'm not going to sit there and say, I don't crave that.
Right.
But
some people do.
I know some people say it's really addicting and everything, but I can see it. I'm not like an adrenaline junkie where there's guys, like I know one guy, he used to climb the windmills and jump off them things.
Oh, jeez.
They do illegal shit just because they're that adrenaline.
Right.
Now, nothing like that at all. But there is something about that sensation of falling, and
that is pretty cool.
And it's so loud. You're doing 120 miles an hour, and then when the chute does open, it's just so quiet.
Really?
Yeah. They could hear me yelling from down on the ground.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
When the chute opens, was it really loud? Because I've been under the bridge when people are freaking jumping off the bridge, and man, that's just a big boom when those things
It's loud
open.
for a little bit, but the chutes now. It really wasn't a fear. I was just wanting to know what to expect. I know when my dad used to jump, it was a round chute, and nothing like they are now. It would actually pull you back up.
Got you.
But the way the chutes are now, they've got like a webbing that all the cords go through, and this webbing is pushed up by the chute itself. So as the chute opens, that webbing lowers, right? And it ends up right above you.
Got you.
And that takes a lot of that jerk.
Oh.
So it really wasn't bad at all.
That's interesting.
Maybe the guy put the harness on me really good and everything, but because it was a tandem.
Right.
But it I didn't feel like it really even wasn't even uncomfortable.
Right.
And then once you're actually set there and the chute's open, I kind of lift it up a little bit, and there's some straps, so you're almost sitting.
Gotcha.
And when we landed landed on the ground, we were able to stand up, so it wasn't.
Not bad on your knees. I've always wondered that too.
No, I didn't get on my and I was a little worried about that because I had knee surgery.
Right.
But worst case scenario, we'd have just slid on our butts.
Got ya.
But he said stand up, and right at the last second he stood up. Super soft landing.
Right. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? The next one may not be like that. I don't know, but I'm definitely going to do it again. Not for the. Yeah. It's just cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
So, D-zone.
D-zone.
Yeah. All right, buddy.
Okay, it was good. Good talk.
Yeah, it's good seeing you. I haven't seen you. We talk on the phone a little bit here and there. But we get so busy that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. We'll get back on the.
Let's track as good as we can. Let's not even beat our chest and say every week we'll get on there.
We're making no promises. Just enjoying when they're here.
Yeah, exactly. So, all right. Well, thanks. Appreciate everyone watching.
Yeah, thank you guys. We'll see ya.